Ken Kara and John Eric Polai with some sports commentary for you. John, let's start locally. Of course, this week, fall sports get into full swing with high school sports, but let's go back to some spring sports news that came out now. I guess it was fall news. But Heather Nat, head coach for the Hazleton area high school softball team, stepping down after 3 seasons. John, super successful. She was 51-5, of course, going to the state playoffs every year, taking one team to the state championship game, finishing second in the state. So very successful. She's a former player. I remember her talking, John, early in her tenure about mixing fun with all of this. And, you know, you hear that from a lot of coaches, but you can really see it and feel it around the Lady Cougar program. And sometimes you have all that talent, it doesn't translate to wins. It helps when your team's a little loose. They could come back in games. And I thought the Lady Cougars really showed that off. You had the pleasure of covering them as well. Did you get the same vibe? Or
Yeah, well, first off, I just want to say I'm still amazed at the 51-5. That's incredible. But yeah, no, definitely. Whenever you saw the Lady Cougars out on the field, they're always smiling, having a good time. And it just seemed like that team chemistry was always there. And, you know, obviously wins and losses are important, but when you're having a good time, it makes it a lot easier to win games.
Heather Nat, I'm expecting her second child and saying, you know, it was a little hectic, expecting that right before the season, hoping to come back to coaching one day. Well, let's talk fall sports. Hazleton area golf team, girls team, John, looking very good this season. Had some success last year, finished second in the district. They also won a tournament this year. Grace Babinchak is back again this year, who also had a stellar season last year. Jess McClelland back for MMI. You had the pleasure of doing an interview with her last year. Seems like she's been there forever. She's one of those athletes who have just been successful that long. Big senior season for her, though, coming up.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what I really like about Jess? When I interviewed her, she's like this very nice, calm, cool, collective girl. So you need to have that when you're on the golf course. You know, you can't be out there getting frustrated and all that. And I feel like if she could, you know, keeps that on the golf course, she's definitely going to be all right. I mean, she had such a great ending to the season last year. Was she district champ or district runner-up, and then she ended up making it. Yeah, she made it down to states, and she had a great tournament down at state. She was close to getting a medal, and experience down there now, because usually experience is half the battle down there, because you get nervous a lot of times your first time down there, and now she has that experience, and as Dave Seaman would say, you know, maybe has a chip on the shoulder, just come up a little bit short there. So, you know, I think Jess could definitely do it this year.
Let's go national. U.S. Open tennis, John, you mentioned this to me last week. You said maybe we could talk about this topic. I said, John, the only thing I know about U.S. Open tennis is that old Seinfeld episode where George is eating ice cream in the stands. You looked that up on YouTube today, so you finally saw that.
Yeah, I did. And it's something to see him. He has all the ice cream all over his face. But there was another episode, Kenny, you remember, where he was cutting the Snickers bar with a fork and a knife and eating it. So 50 Shades of George Costanza, I guess.
And that's our U.S. Open coverage. No, but seriously, you are a tennis fan. So what are some storylines as we come into this week?
Well, first off, the heat that we've been seeing on the East Coast has been, we all know how hot it is. You just want to jump in a pool 2 seconds from being outside. They're out there playing tennis in it. Other storylines with that, Simona Halep, the #1 overall seed. She won the French Open earlier this year. She gets knocked out in the very first round. And then, you know, you can't forget about Serena Williams there. She's back. She's playing. She's trying to win her first major since having the baby. I don't know if she's going to do it. I saw her playing the other night there, and her movement just didn't seem like it was all there. She didn't look like vintage Serena.
Of the men, who do you think has the best chance, or who you look at?
You know what? I'm going to go with Djokovic again. Djokovic just won the Wimbledon, but about 2 weeks ago, or maybe even a week ago, he faced Federer in a big tune-up tournament right before the U.S. Open, and he defeated Federer in that. So I think those two guys play great on the hard court, so I'm going to go, I think Djokovic might, but one thing to keep an eye out for, Rafa Nadal, when he gets hot in the U.S. Open court, he steamrolls everybody in it. But if I was a betting man, I'm going to go with Novak Djokovic.
Of course, it's the first week of NFL football coming up, week 1, and the party starts in Philadelphia with the defending champs, the Eagles. I think that might be the best game of the week. You got the Falcons visiting the Eagles. My biggest week 1 matchup, Saquon Barkley makes his debut at home with the New York Giants against the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's 1 p.m. on Fox. Any matchups you're looking at?
Well, as a Packers fan, I got to go with Green Bay in week 1 there, but they're only playing the Bears. That should be a fine opening week. But I am curious, though, with Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers is getting this big contract extension. It's going to be his first game since the collarbone surgery. So, I'm sorry, he did play that one game last year against Carolina at the very end, but his first full season since that collarbone surgery. So, I'm interested to see that. But no, I mean, as a Penn State fan for you, you know, I do want to touch on Barkley there for a second. You know, a lot of people fantasy draft want to take him early, but Yeah, I think he does have obviously the talent to be a star there, but the Giants' offensive line that's not their strong point.
But
So
I'll tell you what, that was, I think, one of the things with Saquon. Penn State, he was able to make something out of nothing sometime with a offensive line that didn't have a ton of depth. But here's a point: he still hasn't played a real play in a regular season NFL game yet. So that's also something to consider. There's a lot of excitement. John, I want to close with the Hazleton Challenger Little League. Great on Friday night as they were honored at Harmon Geist Memorial Stadium with the Hazleton area Cougars. A lot of feel-good stories in our area. Just wanted to give them one more shout-out because Dave Seaman said it actually before the Hazleton Challenger Little League game that it was going to be the story of the year, and absolutely it gets my vote. Well, John, thank you so much. Good luck to your Packers this weekend, and we hope all of you enjoyed the sports commentary here on Community NEPA News.